Mmm. Oh, this is so good. So good. This is German lemon roll. It's so delicious. It's cake with a lemon icing. That's very delicious. Do you want to know how to make one of these? Well, my mom came over recently and she walked me through the steps of making this delicious, delicious lemon roll. This is the cake that my mom bakes every year for my birthday, or if she is not over here, she bakes it anyway once a year. It's so delicious. It's an old family recipe from my grandfather. He was a cake maker and he came up with this German lemon roll recipe, and it's so good. So this is what the end product looks like, the lemon rolls. And in this video, I'm gonna share the secret recipe that was passed on from my grandfather. And I wanted to share it with everybody because this cake is so delicious that you need to know about it. So I'm gonna walk you through the steps. It takes about 15 minutes for the whole video, but the whole process takes about an hour. So let's get started. First, we're gonna work on the icing. We need 2 lemons, we're going to squeeze them, and then we take the juice, fill it into a measuring cup, and add water, so we have 1 cup of lemon juice. So we're going to use that to make a pudding with lemon juice. So for that we'll take a package of hot pudding, and in this case we're going to take a German brand. We'll have a little bit of juice left so we can mix in the pudding powder. So we're going to do that, and we add 4 tablespoons of sugar into the mix. And once we have done that, we will bring this to a boil. We put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, put it on a little bit more than medium heat, and then once it's boiling, we will add the mixture which has the flour. So I'm gonna add the pudding and stir until it's gonna be thick. And we just left I just left the video on so you can see how long it approximately takes for it to thicken, and really for you to see how it's gonna be turning out at the very end. So again, this is an old family recipe that my mom made every year for the last approximately 40 years of my life, and it's been always one of the highlights of the year to enjoy this cake. As you will see, it takes a little bit of time and practice to get it to perfect state. Okay, so this looks good. Now we're gonna let this pudding cool off, because this is going to be our base for the icing. But we also need, for the icing, we need 1.5 sticks of butter, and we will take it out of the fridge, put it into a mixing bowl, and then let it sit so that both the butter and then the lemon pudding are room temperature. We're gonna mix both of them in a later step. Before we get there, we will start working on the crust. So that's going to be the next step, or actually the cake. So what we need is 2/3 of a cup of cornstarch, 2/3 of the cup of cornstarch, and then 5 eggs. I'm going to put all the eggs into a mixing bowl because we're going to use the mixer to create the base for the cake. We add 6 tablespoons of sugar. I'm gonna have all the ingredients in the description of this video, so but I thought it would be good to list it here as well. So a pinch of salt, just like that, put it in there, and then you mix it, and it will take a little bit of time. And again, I left the camera running so you can kind of see how long it takes until it becomes or gets to a consistency when we can start folding under the cornstarch that is next to it. So this is going to take a little while. So my grandfather, he worked as a cake maker in Germany, and one of the recipes that was an instant hit with the family, but also with other members of the family and friends, was this lemon roll. So almost everybody who we present this lemon roll to loves it. It's so good, and it's I mean, once you've done it, you will know it. So let me just come back here to what's going on here. You can see how the batter becomes, or how the consistency is changing, and it has to become a little bit thick. And so here's the point. So it's not totally thick, but this is the point where we will start folding under the cornstarch. So we take a sieve, just like that, and then we fold it under. And here you can see a little bit of how the consistency should be. So it's a little bit thicker, as you can see. And the more we add of the cornstarch, the more it will become almost like a pancake mix type of consistency. But so we fold under the entire cornstarch, the 2/3 of a cup, and we'll do this as you can see it here. And this is my mom doing this cake and walking me through all the steps, because my aunt was very interested to try this recipe as well. So we decided just to make a video, because there are many steps to it, and it's not that straightforward. But this video reveals the secret of how to make this lemon roll. So yeah, everybody we made this cake for, they all loved it. So there are certain variations that you can do. Instead of using lemon juice, you could use let's say strawberries. You could use chocolate. You do a chocolate pudding instead of the lemon pudding. And then you have, instead of a lemon roll, you have a chocolate roll with that signature icing, which is really, really, really good. So this is the consistency. And here, just to show you of how the consistency should be, we did this little shot here. So next you prepare a cookie sheet, put baking paper on top of it, and then you pour the batter on that cooking sheet. Just like that. You spread it out a little bit, so even it out. Take everything you got from the batter. And then the next step is to put it into the oven. Okay, you spread it out. The oven needs to be 350 Fahrenheit, and I will put the baking time into the description. And then you bake it until it's almost like golden brown. But so she puts it here in the middle rack, and now we bake it. So here is the cake after it's baked, and this is how it should look like. It shouldn't be too brown, but it should be a little bit little bit of brown. So we want to be able to roll this. So that's the key. It should be all the way through, and we should be able to roll this. If it's too long, it doesn't roll and it breaks. And then it's hard to make a roll. So here, let's go on to the icing. This is step 2. So the pudding and the butter, they are room temperature. Both have the same temperature, and we start whipping the icing until it's smooth, till everything is mixed together. And this takes a little while to get it really smooth. And you notice for the mixer we didn't have the right mixing blades, so typically you would have like a whisk type of a blade that you would use. Anyway, it did work out in this case pretty well. So next, let's put it all together. So we have the icing, we have the cake. Now we just cut the cake in half so we can make 2 rolls. So next we separate and peel the cake off the baking paper so we can, and it will stick a little bit to the paper, so you have to be careful to take it off. And you separate the cake, so then you can start putting the icing on top of it. So it's a little bit tricky, as you can see here. Takes a little bit of work to get it separated and then taking off the baking paper. Okay. And then here comes the cake for roll number 2 next to it. Okay, wonderful. So what we do next is we take the icing and we take about 2/3 of the icing, because we will need the other third of the icing for the outside of the roll. So we're gonna apply it to both cakes. So this is the inner part, the filling of it. Okay, so use about 2/3 of the total icing, and those 2/3 you divide into halves, so you can have an equal amount on both rolls. So you do it just like that, and when that is done, the next step is to you save 1/3. The next step is to roll it. So this is when everything comes together. You roll it and you hope it doesn't break. So be very careful. So this is number 1, and then my mom's gonna roll number 2 as well. So here is roll number 2. We're getting almost to the end here. So now we are gonna apply the icing to the outside of the roll. So as you can see here, we use the rest of the icing and divide it up between the 2 rolls. Just like that. And it takes shape, as you can see here. Yeah, so it's a very popular cake that almost everybody likes. And at the end you can see my 2 kids giving their testimony about it. So here she also puts icing on top of the 2 ends, so that everything is iced up with this lemon icing. So she does both sides here, and Next, she's gonna take a fork and she's gonna take the fork and decorate each of the rolls like that. So it gives it a little bit of a better look, a more finished look. So we're gonna do this for both sides, and then we will take chocolate sprinkles, or you can also shave off, chocolate from a chocolate bar and sprinkle that chocolate over the roll, and that gives it the finishing touch and makes it look just like in the picture that you have seen at the very beginning. So this is the secret lemon roll, the secret recipe revealed in this video. This is a family tradition, this is from my family history. I hope you will really like it, and I hope it will work out just like that. And I hope it will come out looking like that and tasting really like that. So congrats, you did it. All right, take care. Well done. German lemon roll. That was so good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look, Lily!
What do you think about the lemon roll?
It's delicious. Let me see.
What do you think about the lemon roll, Cora? What is that? Delicious. It is delicious.
Let's get to